Good morning and welcome to Mr. Sivan Yechieli, who is the CEO of i4valley, that is a very, very innovative, interesting company incubator. And he is also the previous mayor of a small town called Kfar Vradim in Israel. And we would like to have him as our guest, as in real, within Sivan, we have everything that we're looking for, municipality, innovation, the people in the municipality. So the stage is yours, and I'd like you to please introduce yourself, a bit about who you are, and then we'll go to a bit of our questions. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Racheli. You said Sivan Yechieli. I'm currently the CEO of i4valley. i4valley is an incubator, an early stage investment company. We're investing in the field of Industry 4.0. The partners of i4valley are Kfar Plastic and Trilidor, Tambur, Flying Cargo, Klil, and i4 Givon. i4 is a large industrial, not only industrial company from India, and they own a company in Israel called Givon, and altogether they're the partners in i4valley. i4valley is focused on innovation in the field of Industry 4.0, and that is a broad term for all the industry, all the high tech that actually serves the manufacturing industries. Mm-hmm. So if you're talking about things like IoT, industrial IoT, Internet of Things, or cyber physical devices, or logistics, or any supply chain, anything that has to do with improving the value chain of producing products. That's what i4valley is investing in. And we find the northern area here is very developed in this field. As for myself, I have my career started in more than 20 years of software development, where I took places from a trainee program up to a CTO and VP of R&D for various companies. And then I went to the municipal arena, and for 10 years I was the mayor of Kfar Vradim. Kfar Vradim is in the north of Israel. And Kfar Vradim is a unique place in Israel because it's perhaps the only place that was ever built or created by an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Stef Wertheimer, who was the founder of Iskar and one of Israel's famous entrepreneurs, was the founder of Kfar Vradim, and he had that vision of entrepreneurship and of free spirit. He had that when Israel was very, I don't want to say communist, but it was a socialist economy for sure. And he started that whole spirit. And I think that today, where Israel is today, is the vision that Steph had at that time, many years ago. So that's
great. So
more or less me.
Why don't we start from what you just said, that Kfar Vradim in real is the implementation of the vision that Steph Wertheimer had about what a town should look like. And if you could share a little bit with us, what does it mean? How is it implemented? And how is it different than any other small town in Israel or otherwise in the world?
I don't think, I don't want to say that it's different today. I think that overall, there's great cities, towns, villages, there's great places in the world to live in. And
I didn't say the best, I said different. Unique.
So I think that, when I'm going back to the 70s, the 80s, and Zionism was at different phases. So Steph used the term Zionism phase C, or phase 3, and saying that phase 1 was when Jews came to Israel. The return of the Jewish people to Israel was the first phase. That's the settlement, so to speak, that we came in and built it. Phase 2 was security. We had to protect this whole business of Jews in Israel. It's not a simple business to protect it, so we had to build a defense force that would be able to protect this whole thing. And the third phase, in his view, was economical independence.
Yes.
And economical independence was different than what we had at that time. At that time, we were very much dependent on American aid and on Jews from the world contributing to Israel. And Israel itself was a third world country in terms of its economy. The production per capita was very low. So what he believed in is export industries. So create things, build things, make great industries, make great products, sell them around the world, and you know, bring the innovation and creativity. And in a way, he had that, you know, Ayn Rand in Atlas Shrugged, I think, wrote about these things, you know, that the motives that he had was industry on the one hand, and then he had arts on the other hand, and those were the motives on which those are the foundations on which he built Kfar Vradim. And that's a spirit that came about in many things, in the community atmosphere, the way the community handled it. So I think that's one of the things.
Were there any special, I'm sorry, any special administrative or any special communal or any other tools that you used when you were the head of such a community, a town, that implemented these visions? Was it more modern, more innovative, more industrial, more? Could you share about that? We
tried, well, first of all, you know, it went through different phases. And when I came to Kfar Vradim 25, 30 years after it was founded. So it was already, you know, the place, the community shape its own destiny as things progress. But for example, because it's a small town, we didn't have high school. And we thought that having high school is important, but not only having high school, we have two different high schools in Kfar Vradim. One is a regional high school that serves, one is a regional school, an open school that started in Tefen in the industrial area next to us, and we brought it into Kfar Vradim. And the other one is a traditional school. Both are very good schools, and they serve the whole environment. So if we take education as a symbol, I don't think you'll find places with 6,000 to 7,000 people with two different high schools and two different maslulim routes, two different educational two different educational concepts. One is a very democratic, the other one is traditional. They are in the same area, the same region. They share facilities. They join together. They cooperate a lot together. So I think that gives you an example. And one of them is open. One of them is totally open to the environment, to the region. So we have students from different places, Jews, Arabs, whatever, and they all study together and they work together. So you will not. I don't know if you will find any place of our size that will have a conservatory.
Two high schools, you're right.
Or a conservatory of the size that we have. It's a huge, we have over 70 pupils, students that are playing youth orchestra.
The music conservatory.
And so things like that, we wanted to develop the possibilities. But you know
I
what?
already hear from you that it's interesting. You came from the high-tech industry, and yet you knew as the head of the community, the mayor, that the key is education, and you also chose to share now with us education. As we all know, education is a key. It's not the only one. And I wanted to ask you the next question that comes from it. Did you have any plans when you became the mayor to try and implement the way things work in high tech, in the positive way that they work, allowing people to bring their ideas into your organization, allowing people to grow, to develop their own knowledge, and through that to help the organization grow? Did you try to implement it within your township? And I will tell our viewers we're interested in that because our platform talks about the people behind the municipality, the workers that are supposed to make things happen, because you can have the greatest technologies brought in and the greatest visions of innovation. And if the workers don't make it happen, then you probably know it won't happen. And we're looking also for people from the community that want to be active and want to innovate. So all of this is very interesting for us to know. What did you try to bring with you? And we're sure you had a lot with you from the software industry, high tech that you came from.
So first of all, one thing that the software industry has is courage. Not only the software, the high tech industry has is courage. We're not afraid to try new things.
Uh-huh.
Now, usually in the public sector, we are very much afraid to try new things because when we try, if it fails, God forbid, it's going to be a catastrophe. So I tried to bring that out and to enable people to take risks.
Yes.
The first thing we did in that, almost the first thing that we did was the guy that was responsible for the environment came to me and he showed me statistics that showed that 75% of the waste can be recycled. 75% of the volume of the waste, not of the weight, of the volume. Okay, the volume. And he said, we are removing waste every twice, 3 times a week. That's what we do. But if we were to increase our recycling, we would be able to do it only once a week, save a lot of money, and increase the recycling very much. And I went about, and everyone told me, "You're mad. This is Israel. No one's going to recycle. And it's not going to work." And and people came to me and said, "You're making this place is going to become dirty, and it's going to be a catastrophe." And we went about and we had a big campaign, and we did the campaign in schools, of course, and everywhere. And we have been able to increase our recycling by hundreds of percent. The amount of waste that we bury every year from 2,100 tons to 1,490 tons.
Wow.
And that's, the real reduction in waste is a big test for recycling, because you see in Israel, a lot of places recycle more, but they consume more, and eventually what you see is more recycling, but also more waste is going into there. So here we really showed a significant decrease in the amount of waste that was sent, and I think that was very successful. I want to tell you that it was something that people came to me and said, "You're mad. Once a week, the garbage bins are going to be full and people are going to be angry with you." It worked perfectly. So yes, we did implement our ways from high tech. Ideas that came from the community took place. These ideas, actually, we supported them, and it was, I think, very successful in many ways.
So finishing in our very short conversation, obviously, this chapter, you're optimistic as to the opportunities of captains of ships, mayors, women or men, to move things, because you actually did.
I'm optimistic because I know the spirit of a lot of people. I'm not optimistic for other reasons, of the government's attitude. And
so
I think
looking
that
in the future,
be a huge change in the government's attitude in order to enable municipalities to take risks and to make innovations and to try and fail. Failing is okay. Okay, failing is okay. It's a risk that we have to be able to take. We do it in a community, and the local community and the democracy, the democracy in the local community is something that has to be respected. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that it's respected enough today. And that's something that I think has to be changed. And that's where I hope my friends in the municipal world will actually work together to make that change. I think that will bring a lot of good.
So to sum up, what you think would make it better is to put the end user, which are the residents themselves, on top of the agenda priority list. To not look at everything from the central government, and we're talking about governments all over the world. From what we know, all local governments, have to cope with central governments that want to have budgets, that want to know what the bottom line is. So you're saying change it. The bottom line has to be allow innovation, allow change, and judge us by what we changed according to what we chose to change. And the third thing is to be more democratic.
To look at, to inspect, to respect the local democracy.
Yes.
And I think that's the way to go about it. But it's, at the end of the day, there has to be a change and the ability of more autonomy to the local governments, less control from the central government, and more reward for innovation and for trying and for making changes, for progressing. That
okay. I want to thank you for your time. And thank you for being a mayor for 10 years. I mean, that's amazing to give 10 years of service. It's not easy. And we hope to be able to meet with you again and to share some of your innovative ideas and experience. And if you have any questions regarding this interview, please send it to our forum and we'll be happy to send it to, to the company and to you so that you can maybe answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Roseli.